Hello guys, and welcome to another video, and Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is releasing later this week, and it's looking to be a really fun game overall, since the battle system looks great, the characters look good, the story looks amazing, the worlds look really good. I'm just really looking forward to it, and it just seems to be really unique compared to the rest of the Mario franchise, a lot like the older Paper Mario games, especially Super Paper Mario, and it's just looking to be just a really fun game and definitely more unique than a lot of other Mario games releasing over the past decade. So I'm just really looking forward to it, and it might end up being one of my favorite Mario games on the Switch. I know it's too early to say, but from what I've seen so far, it just looks really good. And there was recently an interview that was released kind of regarding the creativity of the game and how characters could be modified, because that was definitely a topic of discussion surrounding the Paper Mario series, and that's caused a lot of controversy surrounding Origami King and different things, especially because of Tanabe's interviews and everything. So basically, there was an interview with the director of Sparks of Hope, and it kind of it kind of touched on this topic a little bit. So basically, they were actually allowed to modify some of the Mario characters without much trouble. Like, they did have to go through Nintendo and ask like which designs could be approved or not. And while they did get a lot of no's and everything, like Nintendo rejected a lot of things, they didn't really have many problems modifying like the Mario characters. And I mean, I guess I can kind of count like the Mario Rabbid hybrids, like even from the last game, like Rabbid Mario, Rabbid Luigi, the Sparks and Sparks of Hope, and different things like that. I've even seen some enemies, like there was like a Monty Mole like enemy, I think, but it was like a completely new enemy in like the Mario style. And then there's all of these other enemies and different things like that, like the Rabbids mixed with like Mario, and then also some of the modified like Goombas and different things like that. So it does seem like it is going in a more creative direction. I know we haven't seen too many things yet, because I mean, I still have to play the game to know for sure, but it does seem like it's a lot more creative and has a lot more modified designs than a lot of other Mario games, especially Paper Mario. And yeah, it really, what this interview has been saying really kind of contradicts what Kensuke Tanabe has been saying about Paper Mario, like how that series has been restricted. So basically, Tanabe has stated ever since Sticker Star, that the designs were really restricted. Like, they weren't allowed to modify the enemy or toad designs or have designs that touch on the Mario universe. They have to be like coming from outside the Mario universe, like the origami designs, or even arguably Kirsty or Huey, things like that. They can only make small alterations with the toads, like with some outfits. And then the few enemies that do have outfits, they're in like the Shogun Studios, which is like the air. It's kind of like a costume thing. I thought I liked it in Origami King, but you could definitely tell that's like that's not their normal outfits. Kind of like how you'd see in the first three Paper Mario games with different characters and everything. So the Paper Mario series is definitely kind of suffering from that, from like a lack of enemy variation and a lack of NPC variation, especially among characters like Toads and different things. That's definitely caused a lot of controversy with the series and everything. And when they do things like original designs, it's always very minimal, and it feels like it felt like they had to do a lot to get that design approved. Like things like Handaconda and like the trees in the Whispering Woods at the beginning of the game. Like, those are like some of the few unique moments in Origami King in terms of character design and different things. And it really seems few and far between. And it really seems like the dev team is really struggling to actually implement some of these original designs and everything. While with Sparks of Hope, it definitely seems like everything is more lenient and there's less restriction, or maybe even no restriction involved, just having the approval of different enemies and in different designs from Nintendo. And that really seems to be the case here, since they really didn't have a problem, like Ubisoft really didn't have a problem kind of getting these designs and modifications of the enemies through with Nintendo. And that's really interesting, because I feel like it definitely implies that Nintendo isn't the ones kind of mandating the Mario franchise. Like, I heard a lot about the Mario mandates, and I kind of thought about that. Like, I mean, there's definitely some, like, there's some argument behind that. Like, it definitely makes sense in some contexts. But I feel like really the only restriction or mandate in place in the Mario franchise is restricting the Paper Mario series. I don't really think there's any other restrictions. I mean, there might be, like, suggestions, like, just to stick with the normal codes and different things like that. I don't really think it's forced. I don't, like, because there's a lot of unique designs in other Mario games on the Switch, like, especially Mario Odyssey, but also some other ones like Mario Golf have, like, completely original bosses, as well as Mario Tennis Aces, and Mario Strikers Battle League has that new character, and they also allow the characters to have different costumes and different things. So it really doesn't seem like Nintendo is strict on the Mario franchise in terms of, like, character designs and different things like that. It really seems to be specific to Paper Mario, which is really weird, because it seems like all of these other series on the Switch, especially Mario plus Rabbids, are able to be creative and do, like, really interesting things, while Paper Mario is stuck with generally the new Super Mario Bros. Cast of characters, with some characters with slight alterations, and it really feels like it's being held back from its full potential. Like, sure, there's really interesting visuals, really cool worlds, and different things like that, but it really feels like they could do more, and it really feels like it's being held back. And it seems like the dev team really wants to put their all into Paper Mario. Like, Origami King, I thought was a good game, and there was a lot going for it. But I feel like the lack of original character designs and the lack of a more extended story kind of pushed the game behind a little bit, and I just feel like there's definitely a lot of missed potential. Like, Color Splash had a lot of missed potential. Sticker Star was the definition of wasted potential, because the original version of the game was originally supposed to be like the first two Paper Mario games, but that original idea was kind of scrapped and it evolved into Sticker Star and everything. But yeah, modern Paper Mario definitely leaves a lot to be desired, and it's disappointing that it seems to be the only Mario series that is, like, restricted, when it seems like all of the other Mario series are able to do their own thing. They're able to make original characters and even modify existing Mario characters into other characters. But it's just kind of disappointing, and it really seems like these restrictions are pointless as time is going on. Like, the Mario movie has more original designs and looks interesting. Well, it makes sense that it's a movie and everything, but it still kind of shows that, like, as time goes on, there's more and more Mario games and Mario media that is able to do its own thing. Like I mentioned, the Mario sports games are even more creative and everything, and it's just kind of disappointing that the Paper Mario series has been held back and everything. And I really hope there is some change in leadership when it comes to the game, and change of like some of the people developing the game and everything. I think the dev team themselves are definitely capable of making a Paper Mario game in the style of the older games, but I feel like I'm not sure if Tanabe is really the one doing the restrictions here. It definitely seems like he has been kind of contributing to it, which is kind of unfortunate, but there's also like the IP team, which is really weird. Like, when you think about the IP team, it seems like something that would be connected to Nintendo and not Intelligent Systems, but I mentioned previously that Nintendo is likely more lenient, as they were with Ubisoft Milan with Sparks of Hope. So it's really weird. It seems like the IP team is specific to Paper Mario and not any other series, so it might have to do with Super Paper Mario, that game being like really doing its own thing and kind of going out there with like original designs and a crazy story and everything. I love that game, but I'm not sure if like Nintendo might have seen that game as like too out there for the Mario franchise, but it's ridiculous that they're using that game. If that's the case, it would be ridiculous if they're using Super Paper Mario as an example of somewhere that Mario shouldn't go, because I really like when Mario goes in a more creative direction. That's why I'm really excited about Sparks of Hope. So it would be unfortunate if Super Paper Mario is the reason why the Paper Mario series is so restricted and is falling in line with a lot of Mario standards that were mostly held in the 2010s, but have kind of gone now in the Switch era. So, yeah, I really think the Paper Mario series should ditch these restrictions, because I feel like they're kind of outdated at this point, and they really were hurting the series while they were in place, like, with how Tanabe was describing them and everything. Because modern Paper Mario has a lot of potential, and I'd like to see, like, how this dev team could expand Paper Mario with, like, new designs, really interesting stories, and different things like that. So, yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.